Hey guys, Heather's Homestead here. Going to show you a video on the other side of the pasture where I showed you earlier where the pigs were. This is the chicken run I was telling you about. First of all, let me address the obvious. Look at my poor hens. They're about plucked bald. Too many roosters. That's what happens when you hatch your own. You have too many roosters, and then you have children that get attached to the roosters, and then you feel bad for killing the roosters. So we just took care of a few today. I think only 2. We were going to do 5, but we only did 2. We had, I think, like 10 roosters in here with 20 hens, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's ridiculous. I'm trying to get it down to just having 1 rooster in here, quite honestly. So that's the goal, is to reduce them even more, because they're just getting plucked. Just, yeah, tore up. This is the chicken coop. This is all. I love this chicken coop. It is a tiny, let me think, 10 foot by 20 foot maybe? Or maybe 8 by 16. No. Yeah, maybe 8 by 16. I love this chicken coop. And I'll tell you why. All of these boards, you see them, they all look very, very old. Well, they are. They're over 120 years old. They were milled on my parents' property. It was a dairy farm, and in order to build the barn for the cows, they milled the wood out of the woods where I grew up. And then they built the dairy barn, and when I was a little girl, we had cows. And as I got older in the dairy business, a small farmer who has only a couple hundred head, you just can't make it. The cost is ridiculous. It's all going to the big-time farmers, so it's hard to keep a farm. So after they sold out, all this wood got ripped down when they tore the barn down and turned it into a house. It's actually a house barn, which is awesome. But they saved all this wood, and when we were putting this up, I asked my grandfather if we could have it, and there you have it. So this wood is old barn wood that came from my parents' property. It's awesome. It makes me feel so nostalgic to see it. That metal can right there, that's where we keep our chicken food. The chicken run is underneath of a big holly tree that gives it cover from the elements. Chicken run is also under cover of 40 foot, probably even taller than that. For sure, even taller than that. I don't know what I'm even saying. Probably 60, 70 foot tall pine trees. So to keep the hawks from plucking these little guys up, because when they're out in the big field over there, sometimes they just get picked up by hawks. So they've learned to stay in here when they hear a hawk. Here's their little door where they can go in and out of the field. There you go. They're going to show you how too. They go in and out so they can have access to the big field, and when all the apples come down, they love it. They tear it up. I'm hoping to give all the fallen apples this year to the pigs before they're butchered, though. And where that shovel is the entrance to well, I call it a horse hut, but I guess it's a pig hut now. Here's where the chickens have. It's a pretty big-sized run. Their poor little backs. Look at them. It's ridiculous. Stupid roosters. Too much carrying on. So in here we have, like I said, this is all pine trees here. And my husband had the amazing idea of tearing out the understory of all these trees, because these trees, all the way out to the driveway, you would drive up the driveway and your car would get scratched up by all these limbs. I mean, they hung, see how much they're hung over up there, over the driveway? It was the same down here. And he said, let's tear it all out. And I was so nervous. I like my privacy. I don't like people seeing my animals and my house and what I have going on. It's not that I have something to hide. It's just, I like my privacy. See the gate down there? Shut. I don't want people here unless I invite them. So he came up with the idea of tearing this out, and I thought, well, what can we put under here that will grow in very acidic soil, because this has been doing nothing but dropping needles for 40 years. Making this soil so acidic. So what went under here was rhododendrons, azaleas, and for food, 40 glorious blueberry plants. Pardon my mess. I have have children and husbands who, not husbands, but a husband who leaves stuff. So I think it's probably because his wife distracts him with a honey-do list every time he starts something. I'm planting onions, honey. Yeah, but honey, can you butcher chickens? And that's what happens. He just gets pulled away. So anyway, these are all blueberries. There's 40 different blueberry variety, or not varieties, but there's at least 25 varieties and 40 plants. You try to get different varieties so that they will ripen at different times. Take it from me, I didn't do it right the first time with my orchard. I didn't look at the ripening times. Do that with everything that you plant if you can. Make sure it's hardy in your area and make sure they ripen at different times. Don't get too late ripening blueberries because you're just going to have it all flush in at once and then you're done. Get a very early, a mid, a late, and a very late variety and you'll be golden for a couple of months in blueberries. I think they're doing good. They just went in last year. And here's a tiny little top hat blueberry. These only get to, they're a tiny bush. They get a 1.5 feet tall by maybe 3 foot around total. I put that here so that the kids' playhouse, they wouldn't have a huge bush to get by. So that's that. I think it was a great idea to tear it out. And when, I know they're not evergreens, but the blueberries, they were planted only 3 foot across, so even when they do drop their leaves in the fall, once they get bigger and more established, just the twigs and such that are left are going to make a border so that you're not going to be able to see directly in there. And with my obsession with, and my husband's frankly, with gardening, we're going to put more fruit trees probably underneath this canopy. Right back in that corner and back in that corner against the fence. Gets good sun. We're going to put 2 fig trees when the pocketbook allows it. This is where the mulch stops. Can you tell? Look at all the weeds. Been waiting on a tree service to bring free mulch. If you call a tree service, a local tree service, they're usually itching to get rid of it because they have to usually pay for it to get rid of it at a dump site. So they're looking to get rid of it. Call them up. Have them bring it to your place and just mulch, mulch, mulch. And mulch in the fall. If you have a chicken coop, we do a deep litter method where we just keep adding straw month after month. And we usually take it and clean it out maybe once every 6 months to a year. And put that all on your garden in the fall time and then cover it up with some mulch and let it get all nice all winter long. In the rain and the snow, it'll just pour nutrients into your ground where your garden will be prolific in the spring and summer of the next year. Don't mulch in the spring, it's no point, except for if you're trying to keep weeds down like we are. But for your garden, mulch in the fall if you're going to do this back to Eden gardening method. Mulch in the fall. Anyway, moving on, off my soapbox. More blueberries, more blueberries. Back there is where I was saying the 2 figs. I'm going to take those 2 branches out, those lowers, so that we can put them there and there. Look at that poor field. I hate it. I hate that they spray that stuff. Ugh. Makes my skin crawl thinking of what we're being exposed to. I don't know what's worse, having neighbors real close or having farmers real close. 50-50, I guess. So here's our beehive. This was an experience. Bees are fun. Guys, let me tell you, don't be scared of bees. They are fun. You get them in like a box, like the size of like an old-timey lunch box, like those metal ones. You get them in a box that's about that size. The queen is separated from them. You open up your beehive, you pour them in. It's awesome. They're gentle, they're docile. If I can get this lid off, pardon me as I put you down a second. Ugh. Here's my beehive, and ants have taken hold. All of my bees died. Actually, my husband's bees. We had probably 30,000 bees going into winter. They all died. I don't know why or how, but they all died. I checked on them in the spring. There was maybe 30 or 40 bees Now there's none. And I'll show you if I can get one of these frames out. I mean, they did a lot of work. They pulled all this comb. I even have honey sitting in some of it, so they didn't starve. I don't know. This frame is full of honey. I mean, this frame is heavy. Heavy. Both sides capped. I don't know what happened to them. I could guess what happened to them. Look over there. See that field? Yeah. Anyway, how can people think things that are killing plants and killing insects are good for you? Just empty. Just gone. Sucks, you know? You spend this money for bees and you try to keep them through winter, and we did everything right. We gave them food. We gave them water. All this laying around here, this is all the bales of straw that we had up and around. We put them up, around, on top, so that it would keep them warm, so they wouldn't have to work so hard. They died anyway. We did everything right. I think my husband has the right idea, though. He said this year when we get them, and we're really late for getting them. We ordered them already, and it's the middle of May. I mean, come on. At least they have honey and their combs are pulled going into the season, but we're still waiting on them. But he has the right idea, just to leave them alone, just completely neglect them, because they do fine on their own out in the wild when it's not people always involving themselves. There is a hive down the road from here that my husband found that's in somebody's house, in their pillar of their front porch, that's been there for 10 years. Can you imagine the honey and the amount of bees in there? Unreal. I want to show you this while I'm here. Those blackberries that I told you can just touch down and you can just pull up by the root. That's what my husband did. And look, you have a whole nother blackberry bush. Why keep buying them? Why keep spending your money? Let nature work for you instead of against you. Pick them up and put them right back in there. Walk you over here to show you one last thing. It's at the bottom of my orchard. I have to finish orchard video and post it, but over here, that pretty barn. old barn. It's beautiful. Big stream down there. Wish we owned all that. It's beautiful. Nothing can ever be built on there because it's considered wetland. So at least we won't ever have neighbors across the street from us. But down here, these are blueberries. These blueberries here are, believe it or not, 3 years old. They should be very tall by now. But they're not. They're little. Want to know why? I didn't do my research. I planted these blueberries just in the grass up by the garden in that grassy area. And I didn't do anything, but I put some mulch around them, but they need acidic soil. I did not do my research. As soon as I brought them down here, mulched them in real good, put pine needles and acidified the soil, they have taken off. I mean, they're not huge, but you should have seen them. I brought them down here. They were 3 inches tall, and they were 3 years old. The alkalinity in the soil was killing them. Do your research. Get some acidic soil around your blueberries and they will do wonderful. So that's all I wanted to show you in this video was the blueberries down here at the fence line and what I did wrong with them. Hopefully I'll help you guys not make the same mistake. My poor little bees. Makes me sad. And this is our pasture from the other angle. I'm thinking this can hold a beef cow, plus with the pasture that goes up and around the house, that's an acre. I don't know how well the cow will respect the electric, but I think it's a good little pasture. I think that's about everything I need to show you. In this video, I wanted to give a shout out to some of the people that have inspired me, for sure. Michigan Snow Pony, Renee. She has inspired me with rabbits, with pigs, gardening, fruit trees, canning. She's awesome. She's an awesome mama. think she's going to be homeschooling this year for the first time. She is such an inspiration to me. Texas Prepper, too. I think that from him I got a lot of great ideas on the greenhouse. That's where we came up with that from. Who else inspires me? Growing Your Greens, John. He inspires me. He's all about eating healthy. Why grow lawns? Grow food. He's inspired us for sure. We watch him a lot on YouTube. Memberson, or Son. I'm not sure how he spells it because I'm not looking at it right now. But he's an urban or a suburban homesteader. He's got a small backyard, but he is doing awesome things with his yard. He's got a huge compost pile that he's constantly tilling up and working in, and he's doing the Back to Eden gardening method as well. He's got fruit trees. It's just, he's doing a great job. He's doing a watering system, water collection watering system. He's awesome. Who else can I think? Misty Prepper. Misty Prepper, she rocks. She's taught us a ton. She's a down-home kind of gal, and we like her a lot. We like her a lot. She does a lot of cooking, gardening, greenhouse, animals. I mean, they do big gardens, though. Me and my husband talk about her sometimes at night. How in the world she can plant 700 and some tomato plants in a day and whatnot. She does a ton. So anyhow, I'll stop rambling. I just wanted to show you all some of the things that we have going on. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I didn't talk too long and said too many times. I probably have. So sorry. Anyhow, I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.